Grab your popcorn, kick back and relax, because it's time for some more Carnage. So in today's video, we're going to be looking at how to solo Ransom with Zookas and Bullet. And the ability we're using on Bullet will be Taunt. Now, this isn't exactly a solo, because technically someone had a breezy on this base. If you don't know what breezy means, it's basically another word for fail. So what happened on the failure was this grappler here on the beach took Bullet, got all the way up to the beach, took out a mine that was between this sniper and this sniper. Didn't lose Zookas to it, but almost did. And then when he got behind the core, wrapping around with this machine gun, he didn't have the GBE for shocks, and everything basically blasted him. So, anyway, that's what happened on the failure. So you can see this pretty much has all its health left. So we will look at the health. So 849%. Now, if memory serves, that would make it about 1.9 million. So given that this has a little bit of damage on it, this was probably like 1.8 thereabouts. Just a rough guess though. So the standard I'd like to say 2 smoke drop, but I could see it wasn't going to happen in 2, not from where he started. So a pretty safe 3 smoke drop. Did do a flare landing. Now, if you do this properly, you can actually get away. Now, you'll generally see this on beaches that aren't so hot, like with rockets and grapplers and everything on there, but you can actually do a flag landing where you don't flare, and this can save you a bit of gunboat energy, just to be, just to be on the safe side. So, the flare here, so this guy placed the flare in the middle tile of this sniper tower. However, you can place it on the tile below it, so, or you can place it on the one between these 2 snipers. However, the very bottom sniper, if you put it on the tile, like on the top, sort of against this wall, that's the flare placement that'll screw you. They will not hold a tighter walking path if you do that. So the safe flare placement is either where he has it, or in between, or somewhere thereabouts, anywhere within that vicinity. You can place the flare above that second sniper tower, sort of in between the second and third. However, again, if you do this, your Zookas won't hold as tight of a path. You'll see them walk around the left side of this machine gun if you place it that high up. So you can see even where he has it, Bullet is now walking to the left side. So that's generally why you'll see the flare placement in between these first 2 snipers, because if you do that, you can get a little bit better gaps between your smokes, and they will all your troops will walk that same path. That's just been my experience though. So timing that flare up as the Zookas were walking into that sort of first tile, middle tile of that sniper. So I will go back and I will show that for you. But flaring the machine gun in the top, this is obviously going to work only for versions where, you know, there is actually like buildings there to flare. If there isn't, then this particular path won't work. But of course, most versions of Ransom does have that. So placing the last 2 smokes accordingly. So this is the point in the video where I pause and I tell you that there is a few different strategies for this. So this particular strategy is good if it's going to work only within 1 shock. So this rocket is actually out of range of where the bulk of the Zookas that we're going to be using is going to sit. You can see a bunch of Zookas is going to be lost at the side here. That is on purpose, because we're only going to be using the ones on the left, just because it reduces the amount of shocks we need. Bullet will distract this rocket because it will be slightly closer to the rocket than anything else. We use Taunt because it negates some of the building damage, which, hold on, I'll see if I can get in half times for you. So yeah, so it helps negate some of that. And I think that's everything. Yeah, so there's two different strats for this if you're going to wrap around the core in this manner. So there's Scorchers with one Scorcher, 7 Botazukas and Brick. Or you can go 8 Botazukas and Taunt with Bullet like we are with this one. You don't want Energy Drink merely because Taunt helps negate some of the building damage ice that's on the layout. If you don't use that, then you run the risk of not really having Bullet last as long. Of course, and you could use Energy Drink, but the price of Energy Drink does go up a fair bit, and you're going to have to use it a considerable amount. So Taunt is the better option of the two. You can use the Scorcher tactic for this, but Bullet with Taunt is going to last longer than a Scorcher. It doesn't really matter which option of the two that you use. In my opinion, the Scorcher, Zukas, and Brick is actually going to provide more damage if you can make it last longer. Like if there's only like a 1 round of shocks, then you're probably going to get more damage off with that. But when you're going to be using multiple rounds of shocks like we are in this particular base, you want to be using Bullet with Taunt for the mere reason that you're going to be able to use Bullet for longer. That's really the only reason. Generally, you'll see this as a very safe 2-hit tactic. But of course, when you get versions like this where it's only really 1 round of shocks, you can get away with that, then of course, then you start to see solos and so forth. You do get versions where there's like rockets down here where these snipers are, and in those particular versions, it's multiple rounds of shocks, and I wouldn't be using Bullet in that example. I'd be using only Zukas and Brick. I'd be doing pretty much the same hit, but I'd be placing the last 2 smokes so that the one on the left covers all the Zukas as they sit out, and then I'd just be doing 1 round of shocks and shocking everything on the map. So anyway, back to the attack, so that you can see we're going to be losing all of these Zukas. So the only thing we're going to be shocking is these rockets here, which is to the left of the core. So have it on half time so we can see the press. And there we go. So we just seen the press. So you can see right now where that counter is on the screen for the smokes, so that you can use that to help time everything. And flaring the core pretty much immediately after we press that shock, which will get them flaring on it accordingly. Taunt was obviously pressed well in advance, because we can do that as early as we like, it's not going to matter. And you can see the rocket launcher up here is firing at Bullet. You can see that this stuff here is going to be remain shocked. This rocket here is out of range of the Zukas that are behind that core, and all is good in the world. So I will try to keep attention here so I can try to see the timing on that there. So as that timer hit the 9 o'clock range, just as it was going to do that, he pressed it for the next shock. So that's how to time the next round of shocks accordingly. And now if I believe that I've done this correctly, I'll put this back to 1 times, and then the only thing I need to go back and show you guys was the timing on that flare on the machine gun here. So pretty nutty attack. So you can see Bullet just sort of survived there, had a little bit of health. We might have been able to get away with like half of a 3rd shock if we needed to. But yeah, also keep in mind that Taunt only lasts for 8 seconds, so you're going to want to be pressing the next Taunt before that one runs out. So that's something to keep in mind. You can use the timer on the screen for like when the attacks, how much time you've got left on the attack to sort of gauge that time. That's probably what I'd use. Or if you want to just count, sort of get practice counting at the same speed as the counter, you can also use that as well. So let's go back here. Let's look at that timing on the flare up, because I did miss that. and I want to just include everything so you guys have the best possible chance at recreating this 4 times, because we don't want to waste your time at all. So we're going to be waiting for the flare up. There we go. So that press just happened, so you can see that the Zookas, the front ones really just sort of reach the flare where Bullit is. And most of the Zookas are sort of halfway. The last ones have just walked through that smoke. So that's the timing. That's when you sort of want to be hitting it. Sorry for, I think, although I did have a bit of silence there because I sort of wasn't sure on the timing. I will probably edit that amount of time where I was a bit quiet out of the video. Hopefully I remember to do that. If I don't, I apologize. I hope I don't get roasted too bad in the comments. Sometimes when I edit my videos, I'm not, well, let's just say I watch some of it, but sometimes I'm in a bit of stretch for time and I don't fully remember. So, hopefully I remember to do that. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and hopefully I provided you guys with a bit of knowledge on Ransom that maybe you didn't know already, or maybe you weren't fully aware of. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Smack the thumbs up button if you enjoyed it. Tell me what you thought in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.